This is the LowcoSports Lowdown podcast. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett and Wes Kerr.
And welcome into a Wednesday night edition of the Lowco Lowdown. Justin Jarrett, our founder, will be with us soon, but we're also in the midst of Under the Bus, the great show that we do with some legends, Curry Kirkpatrick, Rich Miracle, Bob Stevens. He's been blessing the rains down in Africa recently.
Yes, he has. The last few weeks. I think I think Bob's due to come back within the next few days. I should see him at work on Monday.
All right. Awesome.
Getting ready for Heritage Week.
Yeah, it is a week away. It's
hard to believe. Good grief.
Very quickly, which means the Masters starts tomorrow. About have the par 3 contest today. I'm not sure who won it, but whoever wins it doesn't win the Masters. So
that's usually how it works. Yeah. You're right.
But the big tournament starts tomorrow over at Augusta, which is the prelude to the Heritage. The RBC Heritage will kick off next week. Technically, it starts off with Monday or whenever Scotty Scheffler does a ceremonial drive into the Calabogie Sound. But
it's going to be Tuesday, I believe. The last couple of years, they moved it from Monday to Tuesday.
Okay.
So it should be on Tuesday.
All right.
I would say mid-morning to about noonish, I think, is when they normally have that to officially get the tournament underway. And the tournament week. Monday is a lot of business getting everybody in.
Yes, a lot of logistics.
Right.
But yeah, that's what's coming up. We got the Masters starting tomorrow, the Heritage next week, so golf in full swing, and we'll have a bunch of coverage from the first drive to the last putt coming up next week. But we had some high school sports to talk about, including a memorable day for Justin Jarrett and his Hardyville Hurricanes, both baseball and softball with some huge victories and looking up clinching spots in the region today. We'll get to that. We'll get to that now because those are some of the big headlines here for today. As we just saw, Hardyville baseball clinching the number 2 spot, region runner-up, and clinching the home playoff game. They beat Allendale 15-5, a nice dominant win for the Hurricanes, and same for the softball team, 17-2 in 2 innings. I didn't know you could win in 2 innings, but apparently you can.
How about that?
I thought it was to go 3, but they clinched the region runner-up spot as well. So big congrats to the Hardyville Hurricanes. JJ, a big part of that, is alongside Max Araj. So they'll be happy when they come in. I'm not sure if Max will make it tonight, but I'm sure Justin Jarrett, our LowcoSports founder, will come in after the conclusion of Under the Bus, which is you can also stream on demand on our Lowco platform. So definitely find a way to watch that. I'm sure a lot to be said about what happened, especially with the NCAA tournament wrapping up this past week. I'm sure that's a topic of conversation. Probably some talk about potentially some golf as well with that coming up too. But Marcus, how are you doing on this Wednesday night?
Oh, goodness, man. It seems like it's the first night in really who knows how long that I'm just not like utterly exhausted. I've had the case of 3 singing gigs over the course of about the last week. Endless rehearsals with that. Have another one, the third and final, coming up on Friday. So I'm glad I was able to join you tonight because I don't know about tomorrow night. But just really like you guys working hard on the grind with some other things as schools are starting to wind down a little bit, heading towards the finish line, keeping an eye on things from afar as of late, but doing great. Always blessed.
My venue here. I'm getting a major allergy attack right now, so if it gets any worse, I may have to pause my video and pick back up another spot. Allergy season.
That's the other thing that is leaving me at times a little bit ragged, to say the least, is the pollen and whatnot. But just to be able to be involved in so many things, whether it's WHHI TV, which is the primary work that I do, all the singing ventures that I do, and then just the day to day, working from home sometimes and just being able to enjoy the low country lifestyle. It's definitely a blessing for sure. How are you, and how's everything going with you?
I'm doing all right. I'm actually I'm actually heading out of town this weekend for a
Okay,
wedding up in New
nice.
England. So it's a quick trip, but then right back to it starting next week for the RBC Heritage. It's just
Right.
a nice opportunity to see some family. I got a wedding coming up this weekend, so yeah, it should be a good time.
You all have some family in town at the beginning of next week, actually, as well. The Dartmouth Equestrian Program with a big tournament in Ocala, Florida, coming up in about a week and a half. So my sister and brother and nephew are going to be in town at the beginning of the week before they all head to Ocala, Florida for that. Shout out to the Dartmouth Equestrian team. Go Big Green. We'll be rooting on from afar here in Hilton Head for sure. Hilton Head Bluffton for sure. Good luck to you all next weekend.
Yeah, it should be exciting. That'll be great. Um, let me I'll be there one second. I gotta stop my camera. My allergies are getting pretty bad right now, but I'm gonna it doesn't what's the sound here. I'm gonna keep talking while we change location right now. We will get to the sponsors a little later once I get the info sheet written over here. But yeah, not as busy as last night in terms of the local slate. Lots of soccer last night, but baseball.
Yeah,
Baseball's a lot
so
busier this week or this season because of the 3 game series. They were formerly 2 game series. Now they are 3 game sets. So a lot of teams back at it today. Hilton Head put in a pounding on Bluffton tonight. Last I checked, they were up big time, 19 to 9 in the 7th inning.
oh
Let's see if I can grab a final there. Hilton Head's offense absolutely cooking here today and tonight from the Bobcat Den. Uh, Hilton Head started off slow this year, but they have picked it up, and that's a pretty strong effort there for the Seahawks. And a bounce back effort. They lost to Bluffton at home yesterday, 7-4. And I apologize for my allergies tonight. If trying to battle through it, it is not. It is that time of year. But the Seahawks, a strong showing. They put up 19, possibly more if I check the final score here. But yeah, terrific effort there by Hilton Head squad, much needed after what we have
yeah.
seen. Just a really slow start for them in just terms of region play. Like we knew this team would be solid throughout, but they had some rough spots. But looks like they are getting back really to the standards that we have seen from this program from the last few years. So good performance here from Hilton Head. Looks like the rubber game will be on Friday back in the nest, so a chance to take that series. And I assume the Seahawks really want to win that one coming up. But 19-8 is your final. 19-8. I don't know. I said 19-9. 19-8 your final. Hilton Head over Bluff. May have typed the wrong number on my screen or something, but 19-8 Hilton Head over Bluffton. That is a final from the Den. And then Buford Eagles, who I'll tell you, overall they've had a rough athletic year in terms of their main sports. Football is down, basketball is down, but baseball is not. They have been playing some good ball over there. And do we have a final? Oh yeah, here we do. Buford Eagles pick up the 4-0 shutout win over May River.
That's a big win.
Yeah, huge victory for Buford, and once again, getting the 1-1 series tie after May River got him. This region is very tight. So Buford's going to go to 5-3, May River 4-4, Hilton at 5-6, Bluffton 5-3. So this, I'll tell you what, it is a very tight region race right now. Bishop England looks to be the front runner, but the battle for those second, third, fourth spots. I mean, you got to be top 4 to secure your spot in the playoffs, and just a battle for that 4th spot between those. Doesn't look like Carleton's going to be a factor, but those other teams are going to be neck and neck, and yeah, it's going to be tight all the way towards the end to see what happens there with those region standings. But Hilton Head, also Brooke had a terrific night and a leadoff spot, and it just went from there. Hilton Head's offense was the big story in this one, and see if they can keep that going back at home. But huge night for the Seahawks offense over there at Bluffton. I said Buford, as I mentioned, 4-0 over May River. Got some softball scores for you as well. May River 13-0 over Hilton Head. Not surprising, but a solid, taking care of business victory for the Sharks. Buford 19, Bishop England 4. Buford Eagles pounded on the battling Bishops over there on the softball side. And Bluffton's at Colleton. That should be a good match. I'm still trying to find a score there. Colleton's a great softball program. Bluffton, a little bit of a down season, but they've had some good quality teams in the past over there. But Colleton has been an excellent program over the years for softball, and they look to be contending once again this year. Looking for a score over there. We have it 10-0 Colleton over Bluffton. So a resounding win for the Cougars as they roll past the Bobcats 10-0. So not too surprising. Most of the softball scores you expect maybe to win, but maybe not by that big fashion. And then tell you what, this Buford team, Kylie Rass had a great career there. They continue to churn out some terrific ball players over at Buford, both the baseball and softball teams.
It's great to see baseball and softball. And you mentioned Kylie Rass. She is a great player for sure. Got to know her dad pretty well over the last couple of years with all the football and basketball that I've been covering for many years, but particularly the last couple at Buford for WHHI. But it's great to see their baseball and softball getting after it. And Buford, still a great athletic institution, tremendous student athletes, keyword being student and then athletes. But it's great to see the effort put in and them getting some success into this season, because we know that during basketball season it was tough, and it was especially tough as well during the football season with injuries and some other things not quite going their way. But they're getting after it and finding some definitely good results in the spring season with baseball and softball, and it's great to see. And I have no doubt it may take a little bit of time, but I have no doubt that football and basketball will be back here real soon at Buford High.
No doubt, especially when you have a coach like Bryce Lyburn. Like, he's going to continue to put that program in the right footing. And that basketball program, Jeremy Huff's done a great job of the years too.
Yes,
so I wouldn't expect that much of a lengthy downturn for either of those two teams as you look at it. But good to see Buford baseball and softball having some good seasons so far. And I mean, as you would expect, they are having a heck of a start so far over there. But
you can say that they're really taking the momentum right where the girls basketball team left off at Buford, because they had some amazing games and some real amazing results in some of the matchups, certainly that I saw throughout the year. Reggie Jones as well does a great job over there with the ladies of the Buford Eagles for sure.
Max Arras should be joining us. Someone asked about Max Arras. He will be joining us potentially later. We're not sure, but potentially will be here a little later on here tonight. And once again, apologies for my allergies for just bothering me today. I'm not sure why. I guess it's that time of year. So my apologies. We'll keep going as long as we can here. We got some baseball and softball scores, as we mentioned, some more games going on. A lot of Skiza contests tonight as well across the local landscape. We have a couple that have taken place today, trying to find some scores. Colts Prep at Dorchester, Buford Caddy, Thomas Hayward, Palmetto Athletic at Patrick Henry over at the farm. Well Branch Battery Creek High School League game. I looked there, couldn't find a score, so hopefully we'll get one a little later. Hilton Christian Academy, Thomas Hayward softball. That's a new program over there for the HHGA Eagles. Bridges Prep GP2, Allendale Fairfax. Hardyville, we mentioned that one. The Canes got the win. How about those wins for the Hardyville Hurricanes? First year program, or first year back for Hardyville, and it's great to see that. We've talked a lot of good things about the soccer program, and with the help of our friend Justin Jarrett and Max Arras doing some work over there for softball. Good showing from both those two teams this year, and they're going to have a chance to compete in the playoffs, and not just that, but get a home game.
and with what JJ is providing, with what Max is providing as the assistant coach of the baseball team, JJ working as the head coach of the softball team, and just what Justin Jarrett specifically has going with everything there, teaching and really forming great student athletes all the way around. We hear it from him, daily, I'm sure. And whenever I'm on, I usually hear either before or after a show or even in the middle of one that he's trying his hardest to recruit these kids to play not just baseball or softball, which are the sports that he's tied into, but other sports as well. Obviously, we know he's a big wrestling guy also, and a few other sports too. So he is totally invested. That's the definition of JJ, in my opinion. And Max is doing a great job right alongside of him, not just with coaching, but doing some TA stuff there at the Ville as well. Really proud of those guys and the efforts that they're putting in and day out, both in the classroom and on the field, working with those young men and women. Tremendous results, and they're getting the fruits of their labors, if you will, with the fact that we're seeing Hardyville just shine
Yeah.
in baseball and softball. It's great to see.
Yep. Well, it's fantastic, and that is something that we really were looking forward to seeing with this that program. First year we knew that basketball was going to be an important, or sorry, basketball will be, but baseball and softball. And football had they got a big win early, and so it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that going forward, if they're able to. Um, if they're able to continue that.
Speaking
But
of, we've been talking
What's up,
about you,
fellas?
Max.
Oh, well, great. I appreciate when people talk about me. How's it going, fellas?
Doing well, man. I was telling Wes, I've been singing a bunch, as you know, a little bit, and having a bunch of rehearsals. I'm in the midst of my third concert performance ish in a week, which will take place Friday. So in the midst of that, you've got all the rehearsals and whatnot, and then working at WHHI and certainly working from home and doing a bunch of stuff, making some plans for the summer as well. So it never ends, rocking
yeah,
and rolling. And it seems like I haven't
and
been with you guys, and
yeah,
like it's been far too long. It seems like it's been about 2 weeks, and I
Yeah.
mean
once
like
again,
two
I
full
I
calendar weeks. But
apologize for my allergy issues. I'm not going 100%, but still trying to report the scores and go through our nightly ritual, or at least most nights,
Yeah.
for this podcast. But Max Araj, it's a good night to be a Hardyville Hurricane.
Yes, it is. Yeah, great night for us. Both softball and baseball clinched runner-ups in the region, and I heard tonight we've also clinched a home playoff game. So I'm very excited about that.
great.
Um,
Yep.
won 15-5 tonight over Allendale. The softball program won 17-2 over Allendale. So it was a great night all around for Hardyville. We're gonna have banners put up on the fence. After that game, we'll have a new banner on the fences. We've already had two banners on each fields for playoff appearances, and so we're gonna have another one added later on this year, I think. So I'm very happy. It was a great night, but we still got a lot of work to do, and I'm very excited. We're off until we're off until the 14th, and then we play St. Andrews at home on the 14th, and then we got a few more games left, and then playoffs are right around the corner. Which is crazy to think
Yeah.
about. We got one more region game against Bamberg on the road. I'm not sure when that game's going to be because we had to move it because the day we were supposed to play, we had some bad weather come through. So, we got a lot of work to do, but I'm very happy with how we played tonight. My top pitcher had his best performance yet. I mean, he basically pitched a one hitter in the game. Most of the 5 runs were just off of errors by our team, but we're really good. I'm really happy. The softball game got done really early. They poured it on really quick, and that game got done at least an hour, if not an hour and a half, before our game finished. So, I'm very happy, and with being very happy, I'm also determined to not only that we have a home playoff game, but we get a win in the playoffs too. I think that's my next goal right
Yeah.
now.
I mean, it's awesome not just to get the playoff spot, but to have a home playoff game. That's a well earned opportunity for that team. So I'm pumped.
Absolutely.
I may have to head over there to watch that first playoff game. Depends on when it is, but I will hope to make it out there because that's a memorable night over there
Yeah.
for some playoff softball, playoff baseball in the Ville. So that might be a good time to make my first trip over to Hardyville High School coming up in
Yeah,
a few
man.
weeks.
Come on
Yeah,
over. You're always welcome. You're
awesome.
always
Well,
welcome to come on over, man.
looking forward to that. But Max, a couple other baseball scores across the Loco, including Hilton, had taken it to Bluffton after losing to the Bobcats last night,
Wow.
19-8. Your final at the Den.
Wow.
The Seahawks routing Bluffton Bobcats, and then Beaufort shuts out May River 4-0.
Yeah, that's a little shocking, but I would say that Buford and May River are the two best teams in that region, regardless. So I knew it was going to be a battle between the two. Buford's got a really solid team, and I think we're starting to realize how good of a team they have right now, especially with that 4-0 win over May River, because we all think May River can make a deep run in the playoffs. I wouldn't be shocked if Buford can make a deep run as well in the playoffs. I mean, they're looking like a really strong program right now, and they have a shot at winning a region title this year. And it's really showing how good this team is as a whole.
And
And
I mean, Buford's schedule, their last two series are against Bluffton College, and those are fairly winnable series for them. Unfortunately, they lost the head against Bishop England. Bishops took 2 out of 3. 2-1 loss and a 4-2 loss, and they beat them 6-2. So competitive best of 3 series there, and then they swept Hilton Head. That was pretty impressive there from Buford. So this Eagles team it's definitely one you will not want to face when we get towards the playoffs for sure over there. But keep an eye on the Eagles as well as this May River team. Just a tough one to see them drop after a 9-1 win in Game 1, but should be a fun win on Friday back at the tank. Huge change implications. Not only the win, but the head-to-head for whoever gets that dub.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I think, I honestly think that series could be the decider for who wins the region. Honestly, I really do.
Well, Bishop England's 8-3. So they have doing the math here. They have about a 1 game or so. So it's a 2 game or so lead. Or one. I'm trying to do math in my head, and sometimes that doesn't work out too well.
I'm with you.
We're on the 1 game late
because they've already played May River, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So, yeah, that could be interesting.
Yeah, but no, there are a lot of teams chasing them. So Bishop England's they're gonna have to pick up a couple more wins to secure that top spot. It is not, they are not running away with it by any means. They're gonna have to get it done these last couple of weeks of the season in order to clinch that number 1 spot. And they have left. They have Colleton. Obviously, should be one they sweep, and then Bluffton. That'll be interesting. Bluffton, I don't think Bluffton's as good as May River or Beaufort. Bluffton a softer schedule to begin, so I think Bishop England's in a really good spot right now. Just to see what they did against the best teams in the region. They got 2 out of 3 against Hilton Head. They got 2 out of 3 against May River, 2 out of 3 against Beaufort. So they won all those series. Now, if they take care of business against the last 2 teams, they probably be a region champs unless they drop 1 or 2. And possibly they could drop against Bluffton, but I don't expect it. I think Bishop England's in a really good spot to get that region title. But it doesn't really matter, honestly. It's about what happens in the playoffs, and I think it's going to be a heck of a battle for that 2 seed, most likely. To see who gets that between and as you mentioned, Max, I think that River Beaufort game could determine that number 2 seed, in my opinion, with how much that rides on in terms of the head-to-head decision for that game in that series. So that should be exciting. But I'm pumped for to see the end of region play, to see the standings, and then to go into the playoffs. Where you can make the case for Bishop England, Beaufort, May River, potentially Hilton Head to go deep in the postseason.
Yeah, I definitely think I think May River for me. I mean, despite the 4-0 loss tonight, May River's got that team that can play anything, anywhere. Like they have that real solid all around team. And now I haven't seen Beaufort yet, so I don't know exactly what they have, but clearly they've been doing something right with that program this season because they've had a pretty good year. And I wasn't sure how competitive they were going to be this season until I saw them play Bishop England and then Hilton Head. And when I saw them play Hilton Head and noticed the scores, I said, okay, this team is something to take a look at. So I want to get out to a Beaufort game. I just don't know if I will, but I really do think those three teams could all make deep runs in the playoffs. I really do.
Yep.
I think they got a really it's a competitive region this year. It's very noticeable that three teams are in the running still for a region title, and we'll see what Bishop England does if they can finish out with those couple wins that they need to win the region. But even if they do win the region, if they have to play Beaufort or May River in the playoffs, it's going to be interesting.
No doubt, no doubt. I think it's going to be interesting to see how that playoffs shake out, and because you really never know if we get those inter-conference or region matchups that we have gotten so many times in the playoffs this year with the new alignment setup and all that. It should be interesting. So I'm excited to see how that goes in the coming days and early coming weeks as we get towards the end of the month, and then after Heritage Week, it's pretty much full blast on playoffs. I think there's like a one more regular season after that, but then it's playoffs in full force everywhere. So lacrosse playoffs starting up soon. That normally comes out like next week, which is crazy. But yeah, lacrosse playoffs coming up, and then everything else after that. So get ready for a wild next couple of weeks. But yeah, this is a fun time of the year. A lot going on. Max, we haven't done any sponsor reads. Do you have some on you that we can get going?
Sorry, say that again.
Can you you got the sponsor read in front of you?
Let me get them up right now. Give me a second.
Awesome. You're behind your sponsor reads today.
Yeah. Let's see. All right. Have we done our all-star sponsors?
No, we haven't. We
haven't done any yet.
Oh, okay. Well, then, with that being said, the LowcoSports Lowdown is proudly presented by our all-star sponsor, Mickelson Law Firm. Our sponsor that's been with us from the beginning, our original sponsor, our all-star sponsor, our official real estate closing attorney, and a presenting sponsor of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage. Call on Mickelson Law Firm for all your legal needs. Yeah, I think we can do the other sponsors as well. We welcome back Hudson Seafood House to the docks. On the docks to the Loco Booster Club, a great place for seafood and sunsets, which it is very beautiful, and cocktails on Hilton Head Island. One of our presenting sponsors for Under the Bus, which did air tonight. Actually, it was in the middle of their show, or it was just getting to the end of the show as we were starting this show. So check that one out once you're done watching this show. So that new episode did air earlier tonight. You can definitely watch it later tonight if you haven't seen it yet. And then, of course, our newest sponsor, Hilton Head Furniture, which brings furniture, local furniture, in fact, from all the way up in North Carolina, not far from here, bringing quality furniture to you. The Satola family, Larry Sr. and Larry Jr., great friends of mine. I'm so happy to have them on with LowcoSports, and I cannot wait to continue to work with them. So please go check out Hilton Head Furniture on New Orleans Road on Hilton Head Island. And yeah, I think that's the sponsors we can do for right now. We'll do the rest of them later. What else can we talk about tonight, fellas? Do we have any other scores?
There's some more Skeeza baseball scores. We're seeing if we can get to Carleton Prep, Dorchester Academy, Beaufort Academy, Thomas Howard, both like at Patrick Henry. So not too much in terms of skis of baseball. And then just a little bit of softball. We got Hilton Head Christian Academy, Thomas Hayward softball. That's a new program over there at HHCA, getting softball in this year. So that's cool to see them get it going. See if we can find a score here from that one. It looks like they got swept by Hayward. Hayward won 23-10 and then 21-2. So first year program, that's how it goes sometimes.
That's a Thomas Hayward program that has experienced state success in SKISA. So they've had that softball program for years over at Thomas Hayward. So they do have the experience compared to Hilton Head Christian. Again, like Wes said, it's a first year program. It's a work in progress, but they're eventually going to get there.
Some more softball. Max, May River 13, Hilton did nothing. Not really much surprise there. Hilton had another tough year on the softball side of things. Beaufort 19-4 over Bishop England. That's a really good victory for Eagles. And then Colleton County and Blanken Bluffton 10-0 in softball. And then your Hardyville Hurricanes, as we mentioned, with the big win tonight. Region runner-up with a 17-2 win in 2 innings. Is that correct? They won in 2 innings?
That might be right.
I thought Mercy Rule was 3 innings. I didn't think it was 2.
I would think it would.
Unless it was a typo. Possibly.
I don't know. It says Hardyville scored 12 in the first and then 5 in the second.
There you
So
go.
that would have put them at 17.
I didn't know you could win after 2. I didn't know that was possible.
It wouldn't shock me because that game finished at least an hour and a half, if not 2 hours before our game ended. So maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll have to ask Justin that if he hops on the show tonight.
They're finishing up this week's show of Under the Bus, which should be wrapping up pretty soon. They started at 9, so they should be finishing up any moment over there. So we might get Justin in for the end of this edition of the Loco Lowdown. But sure he is smiling ear to ear from what has happened over there at Hardyville, baseball and softball. Tell me more about what you saw over there from the Ville and how special this night was for both of these teams.
Oh, it was very special. I wasn't able to keep track of the game because I was coaching my own game at the same time, but it was a great moment. Justin has worked so hard with this program, this softball program, and tried to build the program up. To finish runner up is truly special. We weren't really sure at one point if they were going to beat Allendale at all. Like, we just didn't know how good of a team this Hardyville softball team could be. Look, the record doesn't say how much these ladies are working, as a program. It's the effort that they put in, and it's not even just Justin Jarrett. It's Gabby Jimenez, who's been fantastic as a coach for this program, former May River Shark, and a former player at the college level too. So she's been great for the program as well. I'm very happy with how it's been going over there. And tonight, from what I saw from my dugout on literally basically a football field away from where we are, they looked like they were scoring nonstop. It just looked like a complete beatdown, which is what it was. And I'm very happy. They did basically the same thing. The last game between the two, it was a 24-12 win in favor of Hardyville. So I'm very happy with where this program is. I didn't know if we were gonna be able to make a chance at region runner-up because we just didn't know what Allendale was going to be like. And so, with those wins, I'm very happy. I'm happy that the program got their first wins, 2 wins, and it's going to be really great to see them play in the playoffs. I think they've all been really excited as a team, and I think getting to play a playoff game at home is even more excited. So I'm very, very happy, and I'm sure Justin is just as happy, if not more. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, going to be a ton of fun over there. Huge congrats to the Canes, both the baseball and the softball squads. for what they have done, getting some home playoff games in the Ville. But we have a lot of other stuff going on, and some scores from last night, which we weren't able to get to because we were all tired from last night. But some soccer going on. Starting with the Region 648 girls soccer, we got a couple scores. May River 6, Buford 2. High scoring matchup over there. The Sharks putting it to the Buford Eagles. Bishop England 7-1 over Bluffton, and then Hilton had 9-0 over Carleton. So some pretty crazy high scoring soccer scores over there for this match day. Just there are a lot of mismatches between those three games over there. So not a little surprising with how high scoring there were, but there's some mismatches that go on from time to time. Bishop England they were at 8-0. They're cruising right now to a region title. Although Hilton Head's at 6-1. Do they? I would assume that they would have another match against them. Coming up on Friday over at Bishop England. So if they win that one, they could still theoretically tie for first place in that region. So Hilton Head girls still have a chance to match Bishop England if they can beat them in the return game. Maver in third, Buford in fourth. Bluffton having a surprisingly down year for girls soccer. It's a team that's had some really good seasons, but 1-6 in conference play for region play for Bluffton girls. Not what I expected, but sometimes that's what it is. Sometimes you have that down season and you get better because of it. But they still have a chance to make playoffs. They're just a game back of Buford, so still not out of it yet. But maybe over Hilton Head seem to be solidified playoff teams as usual over there in football for region. Well, it was Region 7 last year, but Region 6 softball or soccer, which is always very competitive. And we see teams, like multiple teams make it like the Final Four and the Final Two in lower state in girls soccer around here. And then for boys soccer, pulling up the table as they call it in soccer
in the
here.
pigs.
Yes. Your scores from Tuesday: 1-0 Bishop England over Bluffton in a hard fought matchup. Hilton Head rolls past Carleton 5-1, and I guess May Rivers didn't play yesterday. Interesting. I don't see that score over there, unless I must have missed it. But we got Bishop England, a tough one for Bluffton. John Fox, or not John Fox, not the football coach, Josh Fox. He's doing a great job with that program over there. And formerly JP2, now back over here coaching this Bluffton team. But Bishop England, once again, just like in the girls region, they are at 7-1. May River at 6-1. So battle between those two squads for the region title. Hilton Head 4-3 at third. Bluffton 3-4. Those two teams split. But Hilton Head with a 1-game lead, and it looks like those two teams will be the third and fourth seeds in playoffs for soccer. Both two competitive teams, and both two teams that can find a way to get hot in soccer. The margins are so thin. Either one of those teams could get hot and make some noise in the playoffs, especially that Hilton Head team. I like the way that Hilton Head team played, and I like their mantra, "Vamos Azul," as they say before they take the field. I know I'm biased. I'm a Seahawks fan, Seahawks alum, but I like that's going to be a good one on Friday as well, because they get Bishop England at home, and that should be interesting. That should be interesting. The first meeting was close between those two teams. It was a 1-0 loss at Bishop England back on the 14th of March, and I think this will be competitive. I think Hilton will have a chance to steal and potentially. That would be a huge win. I mean, certainly they're far back in terms of the clinching the first or second seed, but it would be nice to see them compete and potentially get a win in that matchup over there. So that one will be worth watching as well. And
I have to say, if I can interject here,
yeah,
Wes, I am so impressed, and obviously I don't follow soccer as much as you guys do, but I'm really
Mm,
impressed with Misa's doing over there at May River.
yeah.
That
Oh, good
yeah,
team.
that
Yeah,
guy, he is just having a great season with kids that work hard. Obviously, he's molding the shape of the program, what he wants to see, and they're buying into what he wants them to do, which is first and foremost what any team has to do. They have to buy into their coaches, they have to buy into the product, they have to buy into each other to work hard as a team. He's doing that. So shout out to Misa
yep,
Garcon because he's doing
yep.
a fantastic
Doing his
job
work over
over
there.
there at May
He's
River.
yes. Yeah, he's been awesome over
absolutely.
there, and former state champion back in 19. We talked about that year recently with Joel Fleek, and he's continued to bring success over there to that program. Their defense, the way they play defense, that team, that back line, really the collective nature of that the team defense has been outstanding, and that's so important. Obviously, they have some playmakers, they have some strikers you can score, but the defense has been the big story for this May River team this year, and they're going to be a tough out. Really, if they can keep that strong group playing the way they have, they're going to be tough to score on in the playoffs. So I'm excited to see what they do. Bishop England, right on the tail. Do they play them again, or I know they played them. Must have played them recently. Oh yeah, they beat them in penalties. Yes, but and then they lost the first meet, so they don't play them again. Already play them twice. Um, they play Parkview in a non-region affair coming up tomorrow, and then they're at Beaufort, which is a little bit of a trap game, I guess you could say, because it's never an easy place to play on the road. So Mayor's got to be ready for that one. And then they got Hilton Head, which should be a fun rematch on the 25th, and then Bluffton Derby leg 2 on the 29th. So May River, if you take care of this and win the rest, then it comes down to whatever. I'll take a look and see what the tiebreaker is, but they got the split over Bishop England, which is what they needed. So we'll see how it wraps up for them in terms of where they finish in the region. But I think this May River team is going to be right there in terms of I think state contenders. I mean, I have to see kind of who else is out there, but I really like the Misa Garzon coach team this year. I think this team is really looking the part of a contender.
Completely agree.
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking about a soccer program that, well, beat off a team that was ranked nationally in
Yeah.
Richmond Hill a few weeks back.
Yep.
They continue to grind. I mean, they had one of the tougher schedules in the region this year, and it really showed when region play started that this is a team you don't want to mess with on a good day, let alone a bad day at that. On a bad day, they'll still screw with you. It's really impressive to see what this team has been doing this season. I'm really excited to see them play in the playoffs and see how far they can go, because I do think they can go really far. I mean, I had a feeling they were going to go a solid ways last year, and so the way they've been playing this year, I mean, you face them on a good day. Any team in the playoffs face that May River team on a good day, it's going to be
Yeah.
trouble no matter what. They
No
are
doubt
one of the
about
top
that.
teams
Yeah.
in 4A right now, and it really shows.
Look, I'm really excited to get into playoffs and really see what some of these teams can do, especially that May River squad. So that's going to be a ton of fun. A lot of soccer, a lot of action coming up on Friday. Going to be a great night to just take it in and follow everything that's going on throughout the Loco. It should continue to be beautiful weather after Monday's rain. We've had some nice weather since then, so that's great to see, and hopefully we'll have some fun evenings over back across the Loco over the weekend. Some more baseball scores to wrap up from yesterday. Colleton Prep beat Jefferson Davis. Tallulah Falls over Hilton Head Prep. And Hilton Head Christian County played Tallulah Falls 4-3. They beat them, so I guess they may have played two, traveling team that plays 2 games in one day. That's certainly possible. Barnwell with 2 wins over Whale Branch, 19-0, 7-3. Bridges over Hampton, 13-5 Oceanside 15, Battery Creek nothing, and then Patrick Henry beat Hayward 3-1. That was yesterday, and Barnwell swept Wilbranch in softball yesterday. Colleton Prep edged Jefferson Davis 7-6. Hampton County 26-6 over Bridges Prep, and then Lawrence Manning 15-4 over JP2. Hampton County showing off 26 runs. That is impressive over there from.
They can do it in all sports now. I mean, man. Hi, Chihuahua. Did you mention what was that team, the travel team that you mentioned, Wes?
Tallulah Falls. They played Hilton Head Christian and they played Hilton Head Prep, presumably in the same day on Tuesday. They beat Prep 5-3. They lost to Christian Academy 4-3. Yeah. So I assume they played them both in one day.
Do you know where they're based out of? I've never heard of them.
What are they called?
Tallulah Falls?
Tallulah Falls. It looks like Georgia. I think okay. Georgia, yeah. Yep, Tallulah Falls, Georgia.
Yep. Wow, that's a bit of a distance too. That's not.
Yeah. I mean,
that's a
kind of. Yeah, actually, they are. They're northeast Georgia, so
that's almost 5 hours away. You know.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a distance, but yeah, dude, that's
Make sure you have a comfortable bus. Whew.
Oh yeah, I hope so. Golly, I wouldn't want to be on any one of those small, short, white buses that some of the schools have. Good Lord, I can't imagine. We did that one time with Hilton Head Christian. We had to go up to play PD Academy, which from Hilton Head at the time was 4 hours up to PD Academy, and we drove in one of those small white buses that had no air conditioning whatsoever on the bus. Oh. In May, by the way, so the weather at that point was starting to get really hot. Towards the end of May too, because graduation was not long after that for the graduating class at the time. So it was really hot, and we had to drive in one of those short, small white buses with no air conditioning for 4 hours.
Goodness.
And then be in the bus 4 hours back after we lost that game. So I hope they had a nice, comfortable bus for that road trip, because my God. I wouldn't imagine doing 5 hours on a bus like that these days.
Yeah, that is.
I remember some epic charter bus rides I had in high school and college for choir events, but as well working with sports, certainly with our basketball team, and some school bus rides that were kind of lengthy back when I was in high school as well. Yeah, you need to make sure you're comfortable when you're on the road like that.
Yeah,
how about that? For sure. You know, it's those long bus rides can be they can take a toll on you. So
absolutely.
What's up, boys?
What's up,
man?
I just pieced out from the Under the Bus studio. We had a good show tonight. I was sitting in for Bob Stevens, and then was just talking with Coach Basirico after. He wanted to know more about the Canes softball team and just some of the ins and outs, and my first experience as a head coach at the high school level. And I wanted to pick his brain a little bit and make sure I was on the right track. So that was good. What are we talking about? I see we talked about the big news about Harry being on the move.
Yes, he's going.
That blew my mind.
Moravian Prep also reclassing, which is a key part of that announcement. That means he has 2 years there to try to present himself as a Division I prospect worthy of NIL money and all that. I mean, I assume that's the end game, right? That's why you would go to a high-profile national prep school team and reclass, so you have 2 years to prove yourself.
I mean, that is the school to do it too. That's the number one team in all of North Carolina in terms of their basketball program. So they are well known throughout the country with their program, and I think it's good for him to get used with playing with people on his team that are also D1 prospects. Now, look, he had a solid team this year in Bluffton, and I was hoping they'd go further in that tournament, but they ran through a buzzsaw. That was what's it called?
Wilson.
I can't remember.
Wilson.
Yeah, Wilson. Thank you.
And they played tough in that game. The reality, though, is there wasn't going to be as much around him at Bluffton this year, I don't think. I don't know. I had heard whispers about Coach Gabriel maybe going back to North Carolina, and I hate to even repeat that because it's speculation. I'm not reporting it as journalism. I'm just reporting it as like the factors that might play into such a decision. I know there were whispers about that. So there may have just been some uncertainty and they wanted to make sure they locked it down. But the reclassifying makes sense to me.
Yep.
His body needs to fill out more. I told somebody the other day he's not unlike what Steph Curry was at this age.
Great point.
There's a lot of comps there, and I'm not by any means, so don't blow me up on the internet. I'm not saying he's going to be Steph Curry. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying there are a lot of similarities at that age, and the knocks on him, so to speak, are the same knocks on Steph Curry. But he also shoots the three exceptionally well and can actually still drive and score despite the lack of size.
And
much like Steph Curry.
He has fantastic ball handling, drill.
He has great court vision.
Yes.
And I mentioned that about him at the point and peak of the season where I was seeing him a lot too, was I was so impressed, and I didn't remember him with quite that ability to drive and score inside like we saw this year. It was
He's got some Iverson in him
it was
as far
an
as that
elevated
goes.
part to his game that he worked on, and he really impressed the heck out of me with that. As well, of course, as his ability to shoot from long range.
Yeah. No, he's legit. I think it's just a case of like, if you don't try, you'll never know type deal. I think they could see that the path to get to where he really wanted to be from here was going to be a circuitous journey. He was probably going to have to go through another level of basketball at some point. And so the way I look at it is they're kind of leveling up now to try to start that process earlier. And I mean, these national prep school teams, it's not unlike JUCO basketball as far as the level. So you're kind of proving that you can do it at a certain level against a certain level of kid if you succeed. Now, there's a fine line between getting exposure and getting exposed, and some kids fall on the wrong side of that when they go chasing the smoke, and we'll see where it falls with Harry. But certainly we've enjoyed the hell out of covering his career and watching him play. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we salute the man and tell him, go do what you got to do to run your race and see how far you can take it, and we'll be pulling for him all the way. I think I can speak for everybody when I say that.
No question about it.
Yeah. What else what all we've been talking about tonight?
We just went through soccer and the region landscape over there.
Very good.
Yep. So as of now, it's getting tighter. May River is hanging with Bishop England after that win, so that'll be exciting. But Hilton Head we mentioned Hilton Head with a good bounce back win on the baseball side for Bluffton back at the Den, and then Beaufort. I'll tell you what, I know you talked up that Beaufort team, but they are looking solid over there. I'm all on this Beaufort baseball team right now. They're playing some good ball.
They beat May River tonight?
4-0 shutout.
Okay. Who was on the hill? Gunner?
My game changer has been bugging me.
I got you.
I'm on it. I've been trying the subscription has been working for me. I've tried several times. It's been bugging. So I may have to. I don't know what to do, but my game changer.
Yeah, well, I've had to quit it and restart it a few times because it's been locking up. I'm not sure exactly what's going on there
right now. Yeah,
but it's still the best app out there.
It is when it works well. It is, yes.
4-0 Beaufort. Shut them down. 3 hits for May River, and Trace Michigan had 2 of them. Max Van Esselstyn pitched well. 5 strikeouts, no walks, 7 hits, 4 runs, 1 earned. They let him down with the defense, and he was outdueled by Gunnar Hollingsworth, grown man, 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, no runs on 99 pitches.
There you
big
go.
boy effort. Maxie, did you guys get the dub? Was it Wednesday in Hardyville?
Yes, sir, it was. We got the dub. 15-5 was the final score, and we now have a region runner-up secured as well as a home playoff game.
Same.
How about that?
How did we win in 2 innings? Okay, so
And
The
then I have
umpires.
a question after you talk about this, JJ.
Okay,
I have a question
sure.
that I just thought of.
So we were told at the home plate meeting, as we always are, that the run rules are 15 after 3, 12 after 4, or 10 after 5. But we were also told, hey, last time y'all played, it went like 3 hours, and we ain't really trying to be here till 9. So we're gonna call a big zone, and we're gonna get this thing over quick, right?
No.
Well, it wasn't getting over quick. We only gave up 1 in the first, and then we scored 12, and 2 of our 3 outs came by stepping off the bases. And then we held them to 1 again, so it was 12-2. And at that point, my man Enos behind the plate said, "Hey, coach, I'm gonna go talk to them, but I think everybody's on board with this being over after 2 innings if you're up by 15." And I said, "Okay, well, if they're okay with that, that's fine." And he said, "They're okay with it." And so he said, "If you score 5 this inning, it's going to be over." And we did. And so that was that.
Yeah, we had to play 5 innings because for some reason every time we were like close
chasing
to
that run
getting
rule.
done with it,
Yeah.
they kept scoring a couple 1 or 2 runs, and we're just
Yeah.
like,
Sometimes it do be like that.
Yep.
but yeah,
But yeah, we were the better team. We only had 2 hits tonight. Unfortunately, their pitcher got hurt the last time we played them, and
yeah,
so
were
she
y'all the
was
home
out
team in
tonight.
that game?
We were. I'm not
Yeah.
exactly sure why, but
We played as the away team, which was fine. I didn't have a problem with that, playing as the away team. It was okay because technically it was supposed to be a home game
this is
for
true.
Allendale. So
This is true. We've also had games where we agreed to just bat everyone and free sub on defense because both teams were on board. You can
we had
arrange
our
those
nice
things.
looking all white jerseys tonight.
You sure did. They were fresh.
They are fresh. I love them. I need to find some pictures of us wearing them. We did take a picture for the yearbook, so after the game, so I should see if I can get a couple pictures. And we had someone taking photos during the game for us as well, so not sure.
Nice. Jay Bird?
I think it was. I don't know.
No, it might not have been because he was at the
yeah, I don't know who it was, but they were taking pictures of us. And I was like, great.
But good news for the Canes is we threw a no-hitter tonight, which I didn't realize after the game. It's 2 innings. But an 8th grader and a 7th grader combined on the no-no. Giselle Briseño actually struck out 4 in the first inning. 1 reached on a pass ball and came around to score. And then Lisi Ortiz came in and finished it up for us. So outstanding stuff from the Lady Canes. I'm proud of them. I don't call them Lady Canes, but some people do. So the Diamond Canes, that's what we call it. It was Wednesday in the Ville. Boys, have we read sponsors and all that stuff?
We
got 1 round in.
All right, we got Mickelson.
We got Mickelson, and we got our
we got Hudson's and all right, so we're down to the last one.
Yeah.
Hilton Head Furniture and also HHI Windows. What's the exact name of it? Coach Barron. I got to get the text right now. HHI Windows and Doors. Your view to the Low Country. HHIWindows.com is where you can find them. They're our new sponsor as well as Hilton Head Furniture. So thanks for their support. If you need furniture, Hilton Head Furniture, the place to be. They got handcrafted stuff made up the road in Hickory, North Carolina, and brought down here. And HHI Windows and Doors, if you want to improve your view to the Low Country, which is a beautiful view. That's why we live here, isn't it? And then the final round of sponsors, we got Base Hit Life, baseball and softball apparel that will help you get through your travel ball weekends and maybe make some new friends, get a few laughs. Live your best Base Hit Life at basehitlife.com. Dr. Ambrose Cole, official chiropractor. Find him at Rooted Living Wellness in Bluffton, and he'll get you feeling right in mind, body, and spirit. Reverence Wrestling Club, official wrestling sponsor and presenting sponsor of the Lowco Grind. Barefoot Floor Care of the Low Country, getting your floors so clean your feet will thank you. And Jay's Barbershop, the place to be in Ridgeland, whether you need a haircut or not. Hello, Jeff. I owe you a text back with some links and some info.
Jeff, how are you, buddy?
It's been a crazy couple days, but I'll get back in touch with you, buddy, and I look forward to seeing you in the Ville next week.
I'm sorry, Jeff. I didn't get to say hi to you on Monday during the show because I wasn't on. But
it was a good show with Jeff and Coach Brad. Who was
that was awesome. I got don't much time left.
Parting thought.
Yeah, I got to get rolling on this, but in terms of parting thoughts for tonight, Man,
Well,
these
I had a question if you don't mind me cutting
Oh
in, Wes.
yeah, we did
I had a
not go back
question
to the question.
that just something that I'm not quite used to yet. I should get used to it real quick in the major league game, but I'm not used to it yet with just pitchers going, 5 innings or throwing like 65 to 75 pitches per
Right.
start. Obviously, it's not going to happen every night for every single team, but we're seeing that a lot more. I guess now this is season 2 of that happening, based off of, certain factors, certainly with arm health and whatnot with major league pitchers. When do you think that's going to go down into the college game and the high school game as possibly a preventative, especially a great question for you and for Max as well, as you both coach the game?
That is a good question. I mean, I think it's a hard question. I think it's already there in some places because I think there are coaches, there are a lot of coaches, maybe even the majority coaches who are really plugged in to the latest advice, so to speak, from the experts and listen to it. And then there's also a group of coaches who think they know better than the experts. They know better than the doctors, the orthopedic surgeons. They know better than the big league uh, player development people. They know that back when Nolan Ryan pitched and men were men, we threw 120 to 140 every time out, and we never had Tommy John surgery. Nonsense. They didn't do
Yep.
Tommy John surgery. You just quit playing baseball when you threw your arm out then. That's what happened. And so we have so much Tommy John surgery now because it's actually like and we have access to the medical care to get it. We didn't used to have that. That's why more kids have it. But the pitch count stuff is real. Dr. James Andrews is not fooling around, and the people that he brings in to study this, they know what they're talking about. And the USA Pitch Smart guidelines have been there for a long time for people to follow. And that's what those people are using at the big leagues. They're
Yep.
using the same thing, and you've got access to it. So a coach who does not abide by that and doesn't, use the access to the internet that we have to read every study on this and how you can better prepare your kids' arms, what you can do in the off season, throwing programs, all that stuff's at our disposal. If you're not doing it and you think you know better than all the experts, you're putting kids in harm's way and you're potentially costing their parents a lot of money in medical bills and you're potentially costing them a future in the game. And so, coaches have got to get serious about this stuff. And we have rules now that really help. The high school rules that make them limit the number of pitches and the days, the required days of rest before they can pitch again are very helpful. But what they don't account for is the fact that that 110 pitch limit is for the whole season, but you don't need to be throwing 110 in March when you haven't thrown a ball, from May until February. That's
Right.
crazy. You should be stretching these guys out. It should be 50 to 60, and then 75 to 80, and then 90 to 95, and then slowly max them out. Because we're definitely putting some kids in
The
dangerous
other thing
situation.
would say is Nolan Ryan had an arm like no one else had.
He was a freak.
Yeah.
He was a
He was
freak.
an animal.
No one should be throwing what he threw today.
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest. Unless you have a Nolan Ryan arm, which is nearly impossible because no one had an arm like he did.
Right.
You shouldn't
He
do
was a
that.
freak.
I
But he was
'cause I
also
agree with-
in incredible physical condition because of his
Yes.
workout regimen. And if your
Yes.
body is in prime shape, you can put it through a lot more. But a lot of these guys, they don't work out that much. All they do is throw, and look at them cameras to see how they can get more spin rate. And that's all they're doing. I mean,
That's all
some
they're
of them,
doing.
do, but a lot of them are not, especially
Yeah,
kids.
some of them are not hitting the gym and
They're just
working
trying
out.
to gas it as hard as they can, and
I mean,
that
that's
ain't
what
the
I
answer.
had to.
Guys used to pitch, now guys throw,
Yeah,
and there's
I
a
will admit,
difference.
like
Yep.
I'm
Very
one of the
much
few
so.
people when it came to baseball who would hit the gym because I like in high school I was a scrawny kid, a 6 foot kid who weighed maybe 185 pounds at the time,
Mm-hmm.
barely. You know, I was a scrawny looking kid. I had to bulk between my junior and senior year to get up to 200, 205 to actually be able to throw the ball harder, but also
Yep.
be able to make sure that my arm would be fine if I threw
And that your
harder.
body can, I mean, it's
And my
it's
body
a
can be able
toll
to
on your
handle
body. Yeah.
that
It's
stress, you know?
it's
Because if
awesome that
anything
you bring
starts
that.
breaking down, then you start overcompensating, you drop your arm
Right.
slot, and now we're hurting things. So
It's
there's
awesome
a
that
lot
you
of
bring
pieces
that
to
up,
it.
Max, because I think of one guy, and obviously I'm biased towards the Cleveland Guardians. By the way, this guy's been in a few games out of the bullpen, and he's been lit up again. Tristan McKenzie. The guy
Oh
is
yeah,
6'5",
string
a
bean.
not a buck 65.
Yeah.
He is as string bean can get.
Yep.
And I've been saying it for a couple of years now.
Got to put
Got
some
to
meat on
get
these
him all
bones.
down this way. We could bulk him up to 200, 215
That's
real
it.
quickly
That's
because
right.
that's what he needs to be at 6 foot freaking
Right.
5.
Power comes from the
165 ain't going to
legs.
cut it. Heck, that's what I am. And I'm
If,
a foot shorter than he is.
well, and if you're trying to whip at 100 miles an hour with all arm, you just might as well just be counting down until something snaps, because that ain't gonna
And
work.
right.
It's legs and
He's
core.
he's heading towards more
Yeah.
surgery.
All right, Wes,
Yeah.
what'd you have, buddy?
I'm blanking. I was going to talk about the fact that we were. I was going to talk about we were in the peak spring, and I was
Yes,
just
we are.
apologizing for my allergy problems earlier.
Oh,
But this is
you ain't the only
Yeah,
one
we
fighting
all
those
feel
things.
you, man. We feel
Yeah.
you too. Trust me, my allergies have been off the roof today.
Oh,
Off the roof.
Off the roof for sure.
Yeah, the allergies
Yeah.
have been rough, definitely.
But speaking of other things, just thinking about the whole Harry Skinner situation, what a joy it was to watch him play around here. Great guy, great
Yeah, it
kid
was.
who always just always was able to talk to me after games or just say hi to me, and just gracious kid and hardworking kid, and it was good to see him the success that he had this year. Very very much deserved. So just want to give one more shout out to my guy Harry Skinner, and
Yeah, man.
had a
Dirty
great career at
Harry.
Christian Academy and a good season at Bluffton last year, and it was really fun to watch him, especially shoot the three.
Long live
I
Dirty
remember the
Harry.
first we had in the championship game against Hilton Christian Academy. That was Curry-esque right there. And that was a high degree of difficulty, that shot that he nailed down for that three. Which is incredibly impressive. Now, I mean, I know I'm not sure how long it goes from here, but
Yeah.
he's
Well, he's
gonna
gonna
keep
play
running.
ball somewhere.
Yeah,
He's gonna
yeah.
play ball somewhere.
I
And
think if you can build out a bit, I think you can go D1.
can I say worst case scenario is USCB? Like
I'd
worst
be all
case?
for it.
I'd be for it.
Very,
I'd be
very
all
worst
for it.
case. Like, I mean, I think he's got higher ceiling than that, but or at least thinks he does, and wants to see if he can play at a higher level. But if it doesn't happen, no D1 offers come, he could play there. He could play at USCB. He'd be a great fit.
Yeah, I'm all
So
for
we'll
it.
see. I mean, it's a couple years down the road yet, and we'll see how he develops.
Yeah.
But been really fun to watch and get to know. He's a good kid. I enjoy his company. We've had him on the show a couple times. I talk to him every time I see him. Definitely rooting for him. So, Maxie, you got a parting thought?
I got two. First one is real quick. I'm getting new audio equipment.
Yay!
The
Long
rest of
time
it,
coming.
this is the mic stand, but the rest of it is on its way. So
Nice.
hopefully I don't have to deal with
Putting that coaching stipend to good use.
Yes, I did. And I didn't use a lot of it though. I will say that. I was able to make some good deals on
Some good
great
deals.
equipment.
All right.
But I will say I'm very excited for that. So then I don't have to worry about the stupidity of using the mic on my webcam. That is what I'm currently using right now. The other thing I wanted to discuss, and I think this was something everyone was discussing about yesterday, is why in the world was Michael Malone fired
Yeah.
from the Denver Nuggets? Why in God's name was he fired? That was a team that's currently sitting fourth in the West right now with a 47-32 record, and you fired him.
My boy
Literally
Josh
weeks-
Kroenke got the hatchet out.
just a couple weeks from the playoffs. They are a
Yeah.
couple weeks
Yeah.
from the playoffs, and you fire
Well,
your
Less
head
than
coach.
that, even.
If you want a good
My
rant on
question is,
that,
here's my question though: why couldn't you just wait till the season was
Right?
over? Why do it
Honestly,
Why do it now?
honestly,
it
I'll tell
drives
you that
me
makes
nuts.
unless you have someone who is gonna
Oi.
well,
be
they're just
But I figured out
elevating the
answer. I figured out
the
guy
the
from the
answer.
bench.
Yeah, I don't know
But
if
I
that's
figured
the
out the
right
answer.
move. I
and
mean,
it's
See, I think there's got to be more going on here. So they also
There is.
can the GM. They also can the GM.
yes.
They were not getting along. But it's weird, right? Like you could have canned the GM and kept the coach. But I guess when you hire a new GM, they're going to want to hire their own coach. But why does the coach have to go now? I don't know. I have a lot of questions about it.
Coach. He's the winningest coach in Nuggets history.
Right,
He's
and
Yeah,
brought
and
he's
more
just won a
success
that's
to the
saying
Nuggets.
something because they had George Karl there for a long time.
He's brought
Right.
more success to the Nuggets franchise than any
Yeah.
other coach has brought.
It doesn't
It's
make
ridiculous.
sense.
It's
Here's
stupid.
what
and I figured
here's
out
what
the
I'll
answer
say.
to it.
I think clearly the players have had to have had some influence, and you have to think maybe Joker has some influence because
Yeah.
I just don't know how else it came to that quickly. But maybe
The only
it's
reason
possible. I will say this too. It's possible that Josh Kroenke, Mizzou alum, true son of Mizzou, and descendant of Sam Walton, whose father, just dastardly father, moved the Rams to Los Angeles and chokes the life out of his franchises. Josh is the boss
tell
of
you
the
what,
Nuggets, and
if
he
they go out
decided to
early in the
fire
playoffs,
everybody.
they
And
go out early in the
it's
playoffs,
weird,
there's
man.
gonna be a lot of questioning over
Well,
there.
here's the other thing.
Yeah.
There are two reasons I thought of with this situation. The first reason for him being fired which is really stupid, but it could be a reason. They were on a 4-game skid.
Yeah, and they lost 7 of their last 10, whatever. They're still
Yeah.
fourth in the West.
They're
Yeah,
still
like,
fourth in the West.
yeah,
I
nah.
don't understand that. The second reason is, like Justin
And
said,
honestly, I'd rather be sixth than fourth, because then you
Yes,
get the 3
yes,
and then the
because-
2, unless the 7 beats them, and maybe somebody beats the 1 before you get
they're
there.
3 games ahead of ending up in a play-in spot, which wouldn't
Right.
be great. But the other thing
No,
I
but
thought
like
of is,
you get
what is the NBA these
I have
days?
nothing
The
to add
NBA
to
is
it.
run.
I
not
don't.
by the
I'm
executive,
trying to get.
but
I
the
gotta
NBA
get out of here.
You got a
I-
piece?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, later,
I'm
Wes.
not trying to do
Let's
that.
wrap it up, boys.
I'm gonna go out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get out of here, and you guys can wrap this up. I have stuff to do and gotta eat something, and I have to wrap up. And
I hear you, buddy.
yeah,
man.
We appreciate your
You go,
service.
bro.
Be
Yep.
well, and we'll see you next
Later, man.
time.
yeah.
Appreciate
Stay
you, bro.
loco, brother. West
loco,
Kerr,
man.
everybody.
Hey,
West
real
Kerr.
quick, the other reason I was gonna say regarding it is
I
the
gotta move
NBA
over
is
here
a
now.
player-run league these days.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
and
No,
that
The
is-
inmates are
I
running the
agree with
asylum.
Justin.
Yes.
I agree with Justin on this. I do think players had something to do with this.
They had to have.
because you
They had
can't
to.
like literally before the playoffs begin, it is unheard of not only to fire the head coach, but also fire the GM when you're fighting for a chance at maybe making the NBA Finals. Like
Right.
they have the team
Unreal.
good enough to make the NBA Finals. They
Yeah,
do.
there's gonna be more comes out eventually. Maybe not
I
till
really
Pablo
hope so, 'cause
Torre
Michael
gets to the
Malone-
bottom of it.
Michael
but-
Malone is a fantastic coach. Whoever picks him up,
Well,
is
he's gonna
gonna
get
have a
hired real. He will
fantastic
not stay
he's gonna
unemployed
be
for
hired
long.
quick.
Curry
gonna be
Kirkpatrick
hired
has
quick.
already called him to the Knicks tonight on Under the Bus. So tune in to see what Rich thinks about the prospect
That
of
would
Mike
be
Malone taking
interesting.
over
I
his
would
Knicks.
like to see.
But
I would like to see Michael Malone with the Knicks. I think that'd be
that would
great.
be very
That would-
interesting. I think they're
that
about
would be
ready to
great.
move on from Tibbs. I think they've
That or
had
he's
enough.
going. That or he's going to end up in the 76ers because they had a horrible year, and I have a feeling they're going to fire their coach as well.
Yeah, he's gonna have his pick of 2 or 3 spots, I suspect. He's a
Yeah.
legit coach. It's a crazy thing. It's a crazy thing coaching in the NBA, man. You never know. You never know which ones are gonna stick it out for 20 years and which ones are just gonna get canned at the drop of a hat because their star can't coexist with them. It's crazy.
I saw a crazy stat. 4 of the last 6 NBA Finals winning coaches, if I'm not mistaken,
Are no
are
Moss
no
with their
longer
team?
with their team.
Well, Coach Bud
Yeah.
built the Hawks into a good team, and then they ran him out, and then he went to Milwaukee and built them into a championship team, and they ran him out of there too. Like,
And
I
then
don't,
they
I
hired
don't know,
Yeah,
man.
their
Doc Rivers.
championship
That was the
came
dumbest decision ever.
with him.
With
Isn't that
Bud,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
It had to be a toxic culture. I agree. There had to be
Absolutely,
something
Kevin.
going on.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's
Um,
the case these days with most of the teams. Like,
Let's
long
not-
gone are the
let's not
days when you
speculate
see
about that.
coaches like Greg Popovich, Eric Spoelstra. There aren't many coaches like that in the NBA anymore where they
Right.
stay with a franchise for more than 15 years.
But I really
You know?
thought Spoelstra was going to be a quick flame out when he first came in. I thought he was just a yes man placeholder, and he's turned out to be one of the best coaches in the
He's
NBA.
one of the top
You
coaches.
never do know.
How long has he been there? He's
Long
got to be
time.
going on 20
Since the
years.
big three. Since the
He's
big
almost 20
three.
years.
Yeah. Oh,
Popovich,
Yeah.
yeah.
he's been
It's been a
If
minute.
not earlier than that, I think.
he's been
Couple
within
years
the
earlier than that.
organization since.
Well, as the head coach.
Sure. I was
As
just
the head
talking about
coach,
head
yeah.
coach.
But
But
in his
yeah, he
days with
was
the
like
Since
video
Riley stepped
production
down, right?
coordinator or something
Yeah,
before.
he's been with the organization since the days of Shaquille O'Neal and Dwayne Wade when they won an
Right.
NBA.
That 06.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's been a head man since 08. So he
Yeah.
was top assistant.
Jeez,
He was assistant from
20 years.
97 to 08.
almost 20 years. That's insane.
Going on 17
And I
years.
really didn't think he would be there
And
long.
Greg
He was rough his first couple of years, and he just
Yes.
kind of let them run roughshod over him. But man, he found his way, and
He
he's
did. They put.
Sometimes it
coach.
takes a year or two.
Sometimes you got to
Pat
give a guy
Riley
a chance
put
to
faith in
develop,
him.
you know.
Yeah, Pat
So.
Riley put faith in him, and he made the
He
right
did.
move with that.
And he
I-
stuck
the other-
stuck to his
the other
guns
thing
and let
is-
him develop.
The other coach would be obviously the great Greg Popovich, who I think
Yeah.
he might be in his last year
I
from
think
what I'm
so.
seeing. I think he's done. But if that is the case, what an incredible coaching career he
what
had
a
with
run.
San Antonio.
Yeah.
But he's one of the top coaches of all time as well.
That's a good
I-
job right now too,
question.
because Wemby.
That is a great
Ooh.
job right now. They got a.
That'd
great
be a good
future.
landing spot for Malone. That might
Yes,
be a
it
good
would.
landing spot for
That-
Malone.
That if that does happen, that would be fantastic.
I
to
think-
have Mike
And
Malone
and you
with
know what?
Victor
Popovich
I
Wembanyama.
think
is
that'd
the
be better
kind of
than New
guy.
York.
Popovich is the kind of guy who would go to ownership and say, "Hey, I was planning on sticking around for another year, but Mike Malone's available, and you need to go get him."
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
He's the kind of guy who would do that kind of thing.
Put a
That would
bug
be
in
And
somebody's ear.
if Chris Paul decides to stay another year in the NBA and plays and stays in San Antonio, to have a veteran like him on your team
Yeah.
as well as Victor
Yeah.
Wembanyama,
He
it'd be
doesn't have the
really-
same value he once did, but certainly as a player,
No, but
coach, mentor type guy,
experience-wise,
he
is
adds a
key
lot,
with that
yeah.
team because it's a
And
very young
Wembanyama
team in
is
San Antonio.
unreal. And they'll have a decent draft pick too, right? So
Yeah, they will.
Yeah, they
be able to
should.
pick up something.
The other
Yeah.
thing is, we're hoping Victor Wembanyama is okay because he had to deal with a
Right.
blood
He's
clot,
dealing
which
with
is-
some issues. Yeah, some health issues, which
many
yeah,
players
are
have
pretty
dealt with
serious.
that before, and it's almost ruined their careers. Like
It's pretty
say,
serious.
Chris Bosh.
It's pretty serious. So
Chris
we
Bosh
wish
is
the
one of
best
those
for him.
players who had to retire because of blood
Yes.
clots. You know? So,
Nervous
like,
little
it's
bitch.
very, very tricky situation. But I hope he's coming back. He's
All right,
young, that's
boys. Let's bring this one in for a landing. Call it a night. Appreciate you boys filling in while I was running late, hanging out on Under the Bus, and thanks for everything. Thanks to all of our sponsors, especially the OGs, Mickelson Law Firm. Thanks to everybody who showed up to listen or watch. Congrats to all the winners tonight. If we didn't mention you, our bad. But congratulations. I know Colleton County softball got another dub. They beat
there you
Bluffton.
go.
So, and I
They
saw,
did indeed.
I will leave you with this. The Region 6 4A baseball race is still tight as a tick. Bishop Ingles got a little room now. They're a game and a half up on Bluffton and Beaufort. And then May River's 2 games back of them.
Bluffton.
Wait, hold on.
They beat
3.
May River.
What? No, May River's 4-4. Bluffton and Beaufort are 5-3. Bishop England is 8-3.
How is Bluffton 5-3? That's insane.
Because they swept Colleton.
Yeah,
They
that's
went 1-2 against May River, and they're 1-1 against Hilton Head so far. So
wow,
yeah.
that's shocking.
Now they haven't played Bishop England yet. So that's the challenge that they face.
I am almost shocked that May River's sitting at 4-4 right now.
Well, but they've played Bishop England and Beaufort and Bluffton at this stage. So they have just Hilton Head and Colleton left, which is the bottom two in the standings. But Hilton Head, with the big win over Bluffton tonight, they're now at 5-6, so they're only half a game behind the Sharks.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it is really a battle. It's going to be fun. But all right, boys, be well, and we will see you soon. Possibly tonight, but certainly Friday, I would think. Although I will be Savannah Bananing on Friday, so I may join live from the Bananas or something for a spell and let you boys.
I like that.
Run the show. We'll see. We'll see how the timing works out. But all right, boys, be well, and all of you be well. And until next time, stay loco. And for Marcus Walsh, Max Farage, I'm Justin Jarrett, the departed Wes Kerr. Y'all be well. Stay loco.
The Loco Sports Lowdown podcast is a production of Loco Media LLC and LowcoSports.com, an independent media outlet providing grassroots local sports coverage in the South Carolina Lowcountry. We are sustained by community support from sponsors and patrons like you. Get in the game with a monthly pledge of $1 or more at patreon.com/LowcoSports to keep us going and growing. Go